This is the first time I ever celebrated a birthday for Bernard, because unfortunately he was born on the 4th of September, which meant that up to then he was always gone to school. He was always off to Flannels, and we couldn't celebrate his birthday. Then he went, when he qualified as a teacher, he was in at Rome. So he was never there for us to give us an excuse to celebrate the birthday. So this is an exceptional, wonderful occasion here today.
It's the first.
It's the first time we ever. I never remember celebrating Bernard's birthday before, so this is a marvellous occasion today. But as a matter of fact, my first Bernard supported me always through my life. And I remember as a 12-year-old going to Flannels. I was full of myself, of course. New boots, shiny boots, new hurls. I thought everybody was waiting for me to go there, and I was going to show them how to hurl and all this. But anyway, I got there and I was put into the A1 class. And not being an A1 student, I wasn't learning that Flannels wasn't all it was cracked up to be. So I remember it was only a day or two there. Next thing I remember quite distinctly in the veranda, in floods of tears. I wanted to get out of that class. So Bernard, who was a prefect in Flannels at the time, came, put his arm around me, consoled me, and says, "Don't worry, I'll solve it." So he left me there. "I'll be back in a few minutes." He left me and went up to the president of the school, and within a quarter of an hour he was back to me saying, "You're all right, you've been demoted." So that was the first occasion. I remember in Galway, I went to Galway too, and being from the country, I was absolutely, I hadn't a clue what to do. I started doing agricultural science. At least that's what I put down to go to university. And I wouldn't know one end of a cow from another. So anyway, who did I approach? Only Bernard here. He was teaching in Athlone at the time. So he came down especially to Galway, and we sat down in Lydon's restaurant, and he went through the syllabus and all this. So instead of turning out to be an agricultural instructor, I ended up doing the BCom and BA. And so it was Bernard's advice. He told me what subjects to select in the syllabus and so on. But Bernard, you know, I remember you probably know that he was a great sports person. I was talking to Bernie Coakley, who was the manager of the Super Factory in Roscrea, and himself and Bernard, he was telling me about him there, that Bernard was a member of the team that won he won with Athlone football team, 7 county championships, one after the other. And Bernard played with Bernie Coakley on the same team. And he was telling me there was no tougher player on the field than our Bernard. You wouldn't think so, to me, but all the rest of it. Not alone that, but for years he hurled on the senior team. He was a great footballer. No matter what sport he took up, he was absolutely marvellous. Let it be hurling, football, golf, tennis, squash, you name it. Bernard could take it up and he would achieve very well at it, like, you know. So he hurled, not alone did he play on that team, but he played, for years he played with the football team in Westmeath and the hurling team in Westmeath, and he was also selected as a member of the Leinster hurling team, which was a huge achievement at the times. So you're looking at a very sportsman. You wouldn't think it to look at him.
It's 60 years ago.
He was as tough as you could possibly make, Bernie said. And then I was talking to another lad who was going to a funeral in the car with another lad. He's generally my chauffeur when we're going to funerals. And he was telling me that he was the best hurler that ever came from Shinrone. But I thought I was always the best. No, you weren't, he says. Bernard was the best hurler that ever came from Shinrone. He remember watching Bernard in a hurling match one day, and they were beaten by about 7 points. And Bernard got the ball, and he was tripped, and he was just going to score a goal, and he was tripped. But he got up and got the ball back and scored a goal. And the ball came down the field the second time, then Bernard got the goal again and stuck it in the net, and they won the championship there by 2 points. So Bernard, I'm talking about being tough. I remember my earliest memory of Bernard is, it was in the middle of winter, and it was a sunny day, strangely enough, and we went out the Bog Road, and there wasn't Blessington Lake, but it was a bit of a swamp more than a lake at the left-hand side. And there was a gang from the village in Shinrone at the time, and there was about 20 of them, boys and girls. So they went on the ice. There was thick ice on the pond at the time, or the swamp. So we all got together, I didn't anyway, but I was just watching from silence. But they were all going in on their hunkers, you see, they catch each other and slide. And that was going on for a good while. Next thing there was a big crash, and then the ice broke, and they all fell in, not all of them, but those in the top of the queue of around their hunkers, they fell into the lake. So what did they do? They came out and they took off their pullovers, their gansies at that time, we always called them gansies at that time, and hung them on the bushes to dry. So they went home anyway, and at that time, we had, in the kitchen at home, the fire was on the hearth. So Bernard was sitting down at the table, and we had a lady working for us, she was Mary Ann Law was her name. She was so 5 foot nothing, but I tell you, Bernard was tough, but she was twice as tough. Next thing at the fire, you could see the steam rising up out of Bernard's pullover, and it was going when she caught him by the scruff of the neck and dragged him up the stairs and put him into bed. Only for that, he wouldn't be alive today. He probably ended up in the We're talking about tough. Coming back from that skating romp that we had. There was a lad, Kevin Liffey, Lord of Mercy, who lived across the road, and he was the same age as Bernard. And I suppose there was a little bit of rivalry there, but Kevin Liffey was his name. And he always considered himself quite a boxer. He had his name as being a good boxer. So Bernard, as you know, would run a mile away from confrontation with anybody. But this lad now, he wanted to prove how good a boxer he was. So he attacked, for some reason, I don't know, probably Bernard doesn't remember the reason either. But he attacked Bernard anyway. Well, if he did, Bernard beat him down the hill and then beat him up the hill again. and that put a stop to this lad's career. You know. But anyway, there's lots more I could tell you about Bernard. He was always supported myself and Des very well. And I must say that Mary, Mrs. Mary very well. They were very compatible to one another. Mary was she was a teacher anyway, and a great golfer and sports person as well. So, and not alone that, but they have to carry on the tradition, to have more in there to carry on. She, by the way, you all know that she was an international footballer, rugby player, so she's carrying on the tradition of the McMahons. So I would like you to raise your glass now, and I'll propose a toast to Bernard and wish him a very happy birthday.
Happy birthday!